Guys, this is an absolutely critical video today about the Ethereum price, about Bitcoin and everything in crypto, because something really alarming has just happened, and I'm going to take you through all of that. Let's take a quick look at the chart first, and then we're going to take a look at the news that is changing everything right now in the short space of time. Guys, so we've seen a big push in both Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? We've seen this big rally towards the upside that's now showing signs of weakness. Now I drew this the other day, which is basically the supply zone, right? Now everyone has basically been getting excited right now because we've seen crypto pushing like this. And I've told you before, with supply and demand, the way things basically work is it's basically tricking the masses into believing that there's continuation. And that's because your kind of brain is telling you that when we see a pattern, it's going to continue forevermore. I drew this box and I made it like red or pink, but so I know not to buy into zones like this, because the brain still tricks us, right? But we need to be sensible. The green down here, so I buy, because here, guys, you can see this is where big money starts to sell off, because every time it enters into here, we see these big drops towards the downside. So we were coming up in here, and yeah, it does have an appearance somewhat of an ascending triangle, and the price is getting bought up higher and higher. We could have seen a breakthrough, but right now something is a bit worrying. We're seeing weakness here, but most importantly, let's jump over to the news story. So before I show you the massive scary news, I want to show you what is going on here. So lawsuit accuses troubled crypto lender Celcius network of fraud. Okay, so obviously everyone knows what happened with Celcius network. More recently, they kind of locked up all the funds of the investors, etc. And now people are trying to sue them, saying they never properly hedged their risk. So basically what they're doing is they're taking lots of crypto, they're lending it out, doing various things with it, but they've never got that backed up in any form of other assets. They're all backed up against crypto, which means if crypto goes below a certain level, then you're going to see an absolute disaster, because they're going to get margin called, because they're probably borrowing all of that crypto in the first place. They're going to get margin called, they're going to have to pay off all of that crypto in one go, which is when you see these mass liquidation events. And that's when you see the price do, 10 grand in like 5 minutes from Bitcoin, and Ethereum doing very similar things, because it hits all the sell orders as it dumps down. So right now this is extremely alarming because of what I'm going to show you. So basically saying that Celcius was run as a Ponzi scheme to benefit itself, gross mismanagement of customer deposits. Basically saying they've got like debts for various services, etc., in millions worth of dollars that they are refusing to pay. Celcius has no immediate comment on the lawsuit, but obviously things are getting a bit serious as far as Celcius is concerned. And now this is the biggest bombshell, guys. Under network and infrastructure, we've got Celcius network transferred 24,462 Bitcoin, or wrapped Bitcoin, to FTX, exchanged last night. Now, my math's not good enough to know how much that is worth, but let's say Bitcoin right now, just around $22,000. You're looking at around $538 million that they've just put back onto the exchange. Now, obviously, in terms of the Bitcoin market cap, it's not like enormous, but it's $500 million. It would cause a significant drop in the price if they were to sell it off, because of all this lawsuit action, etc., being associated with Celcius. It's very alarming when you see that they've just done this as well. And this is kind of like showing me that potentially you could be about to see Celcius basically trying to save itself from going under, because if it, as I've mentioned, if the price falls below a certain amount, then Celcius will likely get margin called, and that's probably why they're trying to offload their crypto, because now they're finding themselves in a sticky situation. So what could potentially happen if that happens? Well, I've told you guys, potentially, guys, and I want to zoom back in time to show you sort of events and things that happened, right? Around the 4th of December, we saw the Bitcoin price falling lower and lower. What you can see, guys, is a lot of people would have gone into long positions around here, right? Because they've been tricked into it by JP Morgan, etc., saying the market's booming, we're going to make loads of money, everyone should buy, because they want to sell their crypto. They do what? They sort of sell it, they come back to our old supply zone, which is up here roughly, right? And then they offload again to a point where everyone who's been going long here, because they're like, here we just had a pullback and we're going to continue to the upside, everyone was going long around here, guys, right? So what happens when they're over leveraged and they're long is when it comes back against them and some sort of news event drops, or something like Celcius offloading their crypto causes something like this, and every time it drops, it's taking out more and more people's buy orders, right? Long orders. So if I'm in long on a position that might be like $1 million and I've only got like $10,000 in the account, then I'm over leveraged and I will get margin called. Okay, so it's going to come back against me, I'm going to lose my $10,000. Then that $1 million that I've bought then turns into a sell order for $1 million, not just because I've got $10,000 in the market, $1 million, right? Because it's over leveraged. So the leveraging comes back against us. and then you get all of these leveraged trades getting margin called. And some of those leveraged trades go into the billions of dollars, and then that is when you come and see something like this happen, right? And you see, guys, when this happened, it absolutely booms towards the downside, and this happens in a very short space of time. But what you've then got is guys down here with loads of buy orders, right, who are sat and waiting, which is why it's kind of potentially sensible to pick a price that you think you'd be happy to pay, and you could maybe stick in some buy orders, like at around $800 for Ethereum, etc. But jumping back to the 4 hour, let's take a look at what potentially may unfold in Ethereum. Now, I'm not saying that we can't have a break towards the upside. I'm just saying this news right now is making me a little bit nervous, and news doesn't often make me nervous because a lot of it's pretty bullshitty and I don't really buy into it that much. But right now, this is a little bit scary, guys, because obviously I know the stuff's going on with Celcius. The whole crypto market is starting to get kind of found out. Okay, the Luna thing was a big revelation of all the bad things that are going on in the crypto world right now, and I think it's a good thing. But in the short term, we could potentially see pain for it, right? I think it's pretty much the last ditch right now for Ethereum to be able to break here. Otherwise, we are gonna go towards lower levels. We really need to see a push, guys, above $1,300. I think, in order to see Ethereum out of trouble in the sort of shorter term. Not saying over the longer term, who knows. However, if we are rejected, we could well see something like this. And this is an ascending triangle, and it does have a target price down below, which, if it broke from a potential point of breaking, obviously who knows exactly when it would happen, but it does seem to be sort of heading towards 75% of the way through, then we would be looking, as according to this, $734. I'm not saying that that's guaranteed. As I've mentioned, if we do see a drop like that, it could form a nice big wick like that to the downside, take out all of those stop losses, and then rip towards the upside. Maybe. Who knows? Very exciting what's going on right now. So yeah, guys, in the shorter term, we are starting to move to a place where we are going to make a decision, because we make decisions about 75% of the way through these patterns, and we are kind of around that area. Perhaps, you know, over the weekend, we're going to see something unfold, but that news is very, very key. You got to ask yourself why they're moving an enormous portion of Bitcoin onto that exchange, because ultimately you're moving onto the exchange to either change it into something else or to sell it. So realistically, it's more than likely, given all the other news and stuff, that eventually they could well sell it. And what you might see is maybe if we do break towards the upside, a price at which they're willing to sell it at, and then maybe we could see something like this. Maybe you fake us out. Who knows, guys? All speculation until we see any significant move above this. I'm short-term bearish. Take it how you will, guys. Still, in my opinion, despite all that, anywhere in the zone, still good accumulation zone for me. It may seem really negative, and kind of short-term it is negative, but guys, ultimately what's happening to crypto right now, we're starting to weed out all of these kind of sketchy companies, etc., that make crypto less trustworthy. It's going to bring in more regulation, which you might think is not a good thing, but ultimately it does protect you and other people against people coming in and scamming others, which has happened a lot in the past. So hopefully, maybe we're going to see something positive coming out from this. Guys, if you enjoyed that content, please smash the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and hope you have a great weekend, and subscribe to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in crypto. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.